everybody. In this video, I'm going to be going through your exit slip questions in detail. So if there's any of them you didn't get correct and you would like to know why, I'm going to explain them thoroughly. So here we go. Question 1 on your exit slip asked you these questions in the following order. Based on this function, is the function top heavy, bottom heavy, or even? Well, if we look at the original function, the highest power in the top is x to the first, and the highest power in the denominator is x to the second, which means that this situation is bottom heavy because the exponent in the bottom is bigger than the one in the top. Based on the answer above, does the function have a horizontal asymptote or a slant? Well, bottom heavy leads to a horizontal asymptote. So I know I have a horizontal asymptote. And now I want you to find the actual answer to the horizontal asymptote. And if it's horizontal, it's always in the form y equals something. Now, if you have something that is bottom heavy, if you take a number, so you really have x over x squared, if you take a number, you plug it in for x, and then you divide by that number squared, this is if you get numbers that are bigger and bigger and bigger. Like if I plug in infinity, I don't know, something ridiculous. If I plug in something like close to infinity, something huge, 10,000, and I divide by 10,000 squared, this answer is going to be very close to 0 because I'm taking a big number and dividing it by a huge number. So it's probably like 0.00000000001. So that means anytime you have a horizontal asymptote and it's bottom heavy, it's always going to be the equation y equals 0. Find the vertical asymptotes. I did ask you this one on the exit slip. So if you'd like to find the vertical asymptotes, again, what you're going to do is at the beginning of the problem, you are going to factor the denominator to be x minus 10, x plus 2. There's nothing that crosses out, so you do not have any holes. However, the two pieces in the denominator help determine what your vertical asymptotes are. In this case, it would be x equals 10 and x equals negative 2, because we cannot have these equaling 0. The reason the equations are x equals and not y equals is because vertical asymptotes hit the x-axis and horizontal asymptotes hit the y-axis, hence y equals versus x equals. The second example was this function, 3x cubed plus 1 over 2x cubed minus 50x. Is this function top heavy, bottom heavy, or even? Well, if we look at the highest exponents on both, the highest exponent is 3 top and bottom, so this would be considered even. Based on your answer above, does the function have a horizontal asymptote or slant? If you have an even heavy function, it is also a horizontal asymptote. Bottom heavy and even both lead to horizontal asymptotes. Top heavy is the only one that leads to slant. So now I'd like you to find the horizontal asymptote. You can't have both a horizontal and a slant at the same time because either the function is bottom heavy or it's not. So it's either bottom heavy or top heavy, so it can't be both at the same time. So if I'd like to find my horizontal asymptote, what you're going to do is take your 3x cubed, divide it by 2x cubed, because you're really only concerned about the highest exponents. In a way, these cross out, so all you really care about is a lead coefficient. So your equation would be y equals 3/2. So anytime you have an even power, just take the lead coefficient of the top and divide by the lead coefficient of the denominator. The vertical asymptotes, again, are found by factoring the original problem. So if I do that in a different color up here, the top cannot factor any further because it's not squared, and we can't take any GCF out. But the bottom, we can take out a 2x, and if I do, I'm left with x squared minus 25. And I can keep factoring that. So we'd have 2x on the outside, then x plus 5, x minus 5. That means that there are 1, 2, 3 things that would be considered vertical asymptotes. We cannot have 0 in the denominator, we cannot have negative 5 in the denominator, and we cannot have positive 5. So those are all vertical lines we can't cross. Now I know that this last part I did not ask in the exit slip, but I don't think it's bad to hear it because it'll come up later anyway. Last example from the exit slip, given this function, is this function top heavy, bottom heavy, or even? This time, if we look at the highest exponents, top and bottom, we have the higher exponent on the top. So finally, we have an example that is top heavy. And top heavy is the only one that leads to a slant asymptote. And if we have a slant, that means they automatically do not have a horizontal asymptote. So I want you to find the slant asymptote. And the only way that we can do that is some kind of division. So either we're going to have to do long division or we can do synthetic division. Now, the only time you can do synthetic division is if you are dividing by something that is linear. In this case, are we dividing by something that's linear? Unfortunately, no. We're dividing by something that's quadratic. So we have to do long division. X squared minus 1 into 3x cubed minus 2x squared. Now here we are missing a placeholder, so you have to put plus 0x plus 5. So if I start my long division process, how many times does x squared divide into 3x cubed? Or if I did 3x cubed divided by x squared off to the side, sorry, my computer freaked out there, that would be 3x. And I'm going to put that over its like term of 0x, and I'm going to multiply that back. That's a cubed, by the way. So 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. If I do 3x times negative 1, that is going to be negative 3x. So now I need to change my signs. This becomes a negative, this becomes a positive, and you bring down what you didn't use. So we have negative 2x squared, because this cancels out, plus 3x minus 5. Plus 5, excuse me, plus 5. Okay, so now you can see if you can divide again. Can you divide negative 2x squared by x squared? Yes, you can. You did negative 2x squared divided by x squared. You'd be left with just negative 2. So negative 2 would go up here, and multiply that back. Negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive 2. Then the signs change. Plus here, minus here. Okay. Then these cross out, sorry. Then these cross out. You're left with 3x, 5 minus 2 plus 3. So now, can you divide 3x by x squared? No, you cannot. So that means that my long division's done. This is my remainder, but the remainder does not matter for my answer to the slant asymptote. The answer to my slant asymptote is going to be y equals 3x minus 2 from here. Finally, to find the vertical asymptotes, again, you're going to factor from the original question. And so the top does not look like it factors, but the bottom is going to factor to be x plus 1, x minus 1, and we really only care about the denominator anyway for the vertical asymptotes. So because the top doesn't factor, the bottom, the two values that you cannot have are negative 1 and 1, which means your vertical asymptotes are going to be at x equals 1 and x equals negative 1. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. If not, feel free to come visit me in the Google Meet sessions, which happen during 2nd, 4th, and 6th periods. Thank you.